I worked at a place that we sold wild rice to chefs,
Yeah.
and I worked for somebody, and I got like not much per hour, but every time I sent out a sample, I'd get more money. If they bought, I'd get more money. And wild rice, Jelly Bear, Daisy Duck, and Wildflower, Kitchen Ensemble had no interest to me, but wild rice did. I love to eat
Mhm.
wild rice. I used to harvest wild rice with my grandpa. I had stories about wild rice.
Mhm.
They would give me samples and I would eat them. This was some of my favorite food. And so I'd call chefs and we had stuff to talk about. It's very
Right.
interesting, even though, yeah, but I had a little different incentive. I could make more money. It was something I enjoyed talking about. I was in college. It was okay. To your point about, well, find something that it's a stepping stone. It's graduating. I got some great experience. It was
No.
it was fun. It was interesting. I enjoyed it, and I could do it 5 hours a day. I could hammer on it. It wasn't at night under the lights talking about something I didn't like. It's nice when you can call with something you're interested in.
Yeah.
And it's nice, I'm never going to get free doing this. I'll make a bunch of money. I'll be able to go on vacation. I'll have to come back and sell wild rice again. But uh, um, yeah, I didn't know at that point in my life that you could do things to get free, not just make money. Because I always thought what they told me was true, that you work really hard and then you can retire. And so I remember too, years after that, I had this little certificate where I go, oh man, by age 30 I want to retire. Retiring means having this amount of money, and that is so wrong. It's so not right. I mean,
Mhm.
because then what are you going to do? Yeah. So if we go, all right, so back to that, here's the life I want to have, and here's the thing that I can do to support that. It's going to feel good. I'm going to enjoy doing it, and it's something that I would love to do anyway. Parts of it I might do for free. Parts of it.
Just the cold calling.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, right. And I love the point that you made about making it a game too. So even though if I'm calling recommenders, that doesn't necessarily mean that's what I love to do. It's just it's a
Means to an
flipped
end.
call. Yeah, and so it's an easier call. It's a, what'd you say, a warmer, softer call,
Yeah.
and it builds a big referral network that's going to send you business, so you don't have to call anybody ever again. That's not true. You'll keep calling people. You'll keep calling people and having conversations, but you flip it and the business starts coming to you. But still, even when doing that, uh, making it a game is a big deal. Like, how many of these can I get? Because as soon as what how I would look at it is how many of these connections do I have to make, and how much do I have to keep stirring the pot to get all the business coming in that I could even ever handle, no matter where in the world I am. So it becomes a game. How fast can I make those connections? It's interesting. It's all the connections are already there. They're already there. All this network that you need to have all the business coming in that you'd ever could handle is already there. You just have to connect the dots. And the game is how fast can you connect the dots. But it's not like, okay, if that's going to be 3,000 connections, I don't want to look at, oh God, 3,000. I've got
Mhm.
one. Now I've got two. How I tracked it was I could do this. I knew that I could do this 5 hours a day. And so I could really hammer out, I could sprint for 5 hours a day. And I could, even smaller, I could sprint for like 55 minutes and then take a 5 minute breather and come back and sprint 55 minutes. Within that 55 minutes, if I could make seven connections. So I had a little post-it note stuck to my desk, and it said, and I started at 8:30 and 8:30, and every time I had a meaningful conversation
Mhm.
with somebody, I would put a tick mark, and then at the end of 55 minutes, I draw a line. That's my score for the hour. And so I'm always keeping score throughout the day, and it's a race, it's a game. And so it's not how many do I have to have, 3,000 or whatever the number is. You don't know what the number is,
Right.
but imagine it's that many. But when you take it down to the smallest steps and you make it a game like that, then you can like Chuck said, gut it out. So you can go. I can think of it as gutting it out, or I can go, all right, let's make it a challenge, make it a game.
Mhm.
How fast can I get one? All right, let's get another. How many can I get this hour? And then it's like, all right, for the day, I got 30. Cool. Most people have that call reluctance. They have to gut it out. They hate it. They go, oh, well, shit, another call. But if flip it around, make it a game like Chuck said. And that's how I break it down into the smallest steps. The things that you can do right now that's like 85% chance if I pick up the phone and dial this kind of call, I'm going to have a successful conversation.
Right.
That's who I want to be talking to. And what we found is that when we would call these recommenders, when we got good at it, it was a 97% probability that we'd have a good call. When we'd hire people at first, they had about a 60% probability, but then they got better
And that
to
that
the
doesn't mean they're
point.
sending you business. That just means it was a comfortable call. Because not
Yeah,
everybody
right.
sends you business.
It was a meaning, like, right. What does a successful call mean?
Right.
That's what it was. It doesn't mean they sent you business. You made a
Right.
good contact. You go, hey, you know, they understand what you're doing. They see the value in it. I sent some information out. Uh,
Hmm.
I mean, there were some things in there. Just don't call and say, hey, just want to send you info. It's not that light. You have a meaningful conversation,
Right.
and they go, oh yeah, I understand. I can see how that could be. Yeah, we'll send you out the info, and we'll catch up. Blah blah blah.
Well, and the
So yeah,
psychology
that's
behind that too is that when you do have that meaningful conversation, that's a victory, right? You hang up and you feel
yeah,
like, okay, I
yes,
had a
that's the
victory.
victory.
Then it starts
Right.
validating what you're doing. Then you start getting validation. Then you go, okay, then it becomes easier, right? And then once you get your first referral, which is like the best experience, like, all right, I called recommenders. Now I have my first referral. It's like it's almost like euphoric. It's an epiphany, like, holy cow, this does work. Then it becomes easier, right? And then because that's why I always like to make it a game, right? Okay, all right, how many meaningful conversations can you have an hour in a day? And I know that out of those meaningful conversations, I know X% of them are ultimately going to send me business. Then it's a game. Then it's almost like you
Yeah.
turn the emotional side off and you turn on.
Right.
You turn on. It almost becomes like autopilot. You're just like, oh, cool, and you're in a rhythm. You're in your jam. But if you
Yeah.
go in with the mindset of, hey, this sucks, guess what it's going to do for you? It's going to suck. Go in and go, okay, no, I'm taking control of this. Because when you're free, you're taking control. When you're not free, someone else is controlling you. So that's why, when we talk about freedom all the time, freedom is a mindset.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you see these people that have been in camps in Vietnam, and they go, I was still free between the years. It's a mindset, right? I was
Yeah.
I was stuck in there, and I know that's pretty drastic, but
Well,
but it's it's all
well, you know what?
what you
If they
put in
can
you.
do it, if they can do it, then you have a little call reluctance. Well, all right,
Yeah,
turn it
right.
into a game. Yeah, turn it into a game. It's within this business, this job that you really don't care about.
Hmm.
Within it, how can you take control? I thought that was well said. You take control, make it your own game. You don't have to get sucked into all you know,
Hmm.
the negativity about the job that surrounds you within this, even in this world. It's a mighty crazy world today. And within that, we can either get sucked into it, or
Hmm.
within it, we can go, all right, I'm going to create my own freedom within this crazy world.
Right.
This is my world. I get that all this is going on around, but it's not within. Within, I'm playing a different game.
Right. It's mindset, dude. You got to have the right mindset. You got to get yourself right. The most dangerous space in the world's about 7 inches, and that's between your ears. So get that right first.
Well, that's true. That's true. A lot can happen. You
Yeah.
look at out there. You go, wow, that's true. This little that happened in there, and
Yeah.
yeah, you have to be mindful.
Yeah.
You've got to be watching. What's going on. What's really going on, right? Looking around. What's really going on? Okay, I can either keep clicking and get more crazy, and or I can go, nah, you know what, I want my life to be a little different thing. So within that, I'm going to create something unique and free for in my world game. But you know what, and back to, I know we're supposed to move on to something else, but if you're wrapping up and go, okay, you covered a lot of ground, but how would you sum it up? I would say make it a game. Really, the simplest thing is to, how can I make this a game? And how do you make it a game is just start measuring. How many can I get? How many can I get? All right, one, got it. And once every little tick feels good, every tick feels
Hmm.
really good. It's
Hmm.
like, man, give yourself a pat on the back because nobody else is going to. Done, got it. And now I feel like, I could probably do another one of those. and then your brain's going to start doing other things like, okay, within this next call, I'm going to make it even better. I'm going to, and you start, your brain takes over in a good way rather than letting it go crazy in a bad way. So when you start making it a game and measuring the smallest things, even, I dialed the phone. If you call reservation, I dialed, oh my God, I got to check. And eventually you don't have to check. You don't have to give yourself a pat on the back for dialing the phone. It's just the conversation.
Right.
I did it. I did it. I did it. All right, like let's do another. And then it's how many can I do? How many can I do? How many can I do? And then other things happen too. Like you don't take the same kind of breaks that you had before,
Mhm.
and you start thinking like, all right, how can I fuel myself differently? How can I? Other connections are made when you start just measuring small things that make it a game. Measure small things and watch how your brain takes it in a positive way that makes all of your life better than
Well, and it frees your
how
mind
they
up
kind
to
of.
think about other things, like
Yeah,
to grow. Like if you can't get past this little hurdle, how are you going to grow into something bigger that can get you free? Like I'm stuck here. It's like, wait a minute. Okay. Okay. You've got to gamify it, if you will, structure
yeah.
it.
Well,
So
that's what
when
we call it, is gamify it.
gamify it. So when you walk in, you're not rethinking this every morning. Like, oh, I'm rethinking. No, no, no. I don't need to rethink that every morning. It's kind of
Right.
like write things down so you don't have to remember everything, right? So if you write something down, it frees up my mind to absorb more stuff. If I'm trying to remember everything, then I can't absorb anymore. So gamify it, get it down that this is, it's like muscle memory. This is what I do. And you'll be amazed at what your mind can pick up. Now you start listening to the people on the call differently, and you're hearing things you never heard before. And then
Yeah.
you're overcoming things that you were unable to overcome before because you freed yourself. You see, you
Yeah.
notice this common theme here is freeing yourself. Is you have to free yourself of things, because hanging on to things and letting them slow you down is not freeing yourself. So do the steps to do that, and then you can learn
Yep.
more and get better.
Yeah. Start measuring small things. Make it a game. Start measuring small things. Smallest things.
100%.
It's things that you have 85% chance of being able to do. Start there. Start there.